Last week, Tyson Foods and two charities linked to the Tyson and Walton families combined forces to create a $4 million endowment at the University of Arkansas to establish the Tyson Center for Faith and Spirituality in the Workplace. The center will focus on outreach programs to businesses, churches, and civic organizations, as well as research on the topic of faith in the workplace. Ultimately, it hopes to teach skills to students to manage employees with different faith and religious backgrounds. Now, another organization in Northwest Arkansas that's been in existence for over 5 years is the Christian-centered, non-denominational WorkMatters, a program that includes monthly talks from business leaders, an annual leadership conference, small group ministries, radio messages, and daily blog postings. Joining me to discuss faith in the workplace is David Roth, president of WorkMatters. David, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
David, I want our listeners and our viewers to learn a little bit about your background. You were working for J.B. Hunt over 5 years ago when you felt called to lead WorkMatters. I want you to tell me, what was the connection for you?
Well, for 20 years, I was the stereotypical business leader, focused on success, focused on my career. I had a strong faith belief, but it was a Sunday-only focus for me. And one Sunday, my church launched a new ministry called WorkMatters that talked about bridging the gap between faith and work. And I just immediately was drawn to it, and my passion ran high for the idea of, hey, I want to try to be the same person on Monday that I am on Sunday. And so I joined this ministry at our church, and it literally took off after about 1.5 years to the point that our church decided to spin it out of the church into a non-denominational nonprofit organization. And at that point, I was a vice president of sales and marketing at J.B. Hunt, and I was just so passionate about the opportunity to try to help people decompartmentalize their lives that I agreed to step away from my job at J.B. Hunt and to take on the leadership role at WorkMatters.
As you've mentioned, the premise is that you're a certain type of person on Sundays at church, and that we have this difficulty kind of transferring those principles and that faith and the actions that support them in the workplace on Monday through Friday. What do you think the reason is for that disconnect?
Well, I feel real strongly that it's pretty simple. I think our culture and our society basically trains us to be a certain type of person at work. And I think that, whether you're a person of faith or not, that we basically have an idea of who we want to be in our personal lives, but then society has created this major gap between that and who we're expected to be in our work lives. And so I think it really takes a conscious effort to say, hey, I want to try to be that same person Monday through Friday and try to live it out in the workplace.
So tell me what you guys do during the week. What are you doing to try to help people make that, for lack of a better word, leap of faith?
Well, we do a number of things. We just completed our annual WorkMatters Leadership Conference. Last Friday, we had over 1,100 people attending there. And that's really a secular kind of leadership conference, and we really want to start there. We believe that just foundationally, that whether you're a believer or not, that we can all focus on ethics and integrity, character, doing our work with excellence, treating people the right way. And so that sets the table, really. And then we have a monthly 8 to 5 unplugged event, it's called, where we bring business leaders into a business to listen to a business leader share their story about faith and work. It's a really informal environment where people can just come and hear some business leaders talk about what that really looks like to them. Todd Simmons, the president of Simmons Foods, and some leaders from Walmart and various companies around Northwest Arkansas come in and share 2 different locations. We do one up in Rogers in Benton County, and we do another one in Fayetteville in Washington County. And then we also help people who want to go a little bit deeper, say, yeah, I get this faith and work thing, but I need a little more encouragement. I need a little more equipping. So we help people start workplace small groups who want to do that. It may be 60 minutes a week or every 2 weeks over a lunch, or maybe at 7 o'clock in the morning, just really talking about how can I bridge the gap between my faith and my work a little more effectively. And then finally, we are strong believers in the internet and our website has a number of tools and resources and podcasts on it, as well as a blog that we post on 2 or 3 times a week.
I know this is a question you've encountered before. You know, people have different ways of expressing their faith. Some are quiet, some need to, shout from the mountaintop, so to speak. How does your organization kind of work in a way that's not offensive to some folks, but it's aggressive enough, I guess, for others?
It's a great question, and that's one of the reasons why I think it's been difficult for people to really embrace this idea of faith and work, because after all, it is a workplace, and the primary motive of that business is the business. And so WorkMatters has been very careful to really try to lay a foundation that says, this is a very individual kind of a decision. For some people, it may literally be, I just simply want to do the right thing. I want to make good choices. For other people, it may be the opportunity to pray before a meeting. For other companies, they may want to put scripture on the side of their trucks. I've seen it from one end of the spectrum to the other. Personally and corporately for WorkMatters, we really think it's a business first and foremost, and you need to be respectful of that, and you need to be respectful of other people on this subject.
I mentioned at the top of our introduction here that there's a new initiative at the University of Arkansas campus. I would think that would be something you'd be pretty supportive of. Even though you guys are Christian-based, it looks like that's going to have an even kind of a wider approach to other types of faith in the workplace too. Do you view that move as positive?
Very positive. In fact, the executive director that was just hired and announced last week attended our leadership conference on Friday, and I got to meet her for the first time. We had a great conversation. I think that a rising tide, raises all boats, and so I'm excited to have them here. I think they will they'll perform services for Northwest Arkansas that we're not focused on at all, maybe market research and some things like that that'll be very beneficial for all of us, and I look forward to working closely with them.
I think that some of the research that comes out of there will be very interesting. David, tell me a little bit about the Joseph Project. This is a new ministry aimed at reaching people who've lost their jobs.
I'm so excited about this. About 6 months ago, we walked out of one of our monthly 8 to 5 Unplugged, and we were talking outside with 4 business leaders, and we said, if WorkMatters can't do something to help people that are between jobs, I don't know who can. And we just launched out into this new ministry idea, called it the Joseph Project, and it has been an incredible ministry over the last 4 months. We basically have established weekly meetings that in 3 different geographies up here in Northwest Arkansas, where people can just walk in at 6:30 in the morning. There's 15 to 20 people at each of these meetings. They're very focused on encouragement, on networking, and on job resources. And if you've ever been in a position where you've lost your job, and that happened to me one time in my career, it can be a really dark experience. And so our mission is to alter the journey of business people between jobs, and it's really been an exciting ministry.
All right, David, I hope that you could give me at least one example of someone that's been helped by the Joseph Project. Tell me a story that maybe stands out to you.
Well, there are so many stories. One that comes to mind is there's one gentleman that's been coming to the weekly Joseph Project meetings who has a coworker who was also laid off, actually before he was. And this gentleman was having a very difficult time, had literally lapsed into a little bit of depression, and he sat down with this man and actually with their pastor as well, and they put together a 3-point plan to just try to help restore this man. The first point was to do a Bible study with him one-on-one, and the second point was the church was going to offer some counseling. But the third point I found interesting was that was for them to attend this Joseph Project meeting together every single week, almost like an AA meeting in a way, obviously a different context. But I think that's a really powerful thing, to just know that these individuals have a place to go where they can communicate with like-minded people and gain some encouragement.
All right, David Roth, he's the president of WorkMatters. You can learn more about the group at workmatters.org. David, thanks for being with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm Roby Brock. This is Talk Business. We're back with more right after this.